Hi everybody, it's me, Fitz. I just wanted to make this video to thank everyone for reading and subscribing, joining the Facebook group, emailing me, anything at all. This is the very first time I've ever tried to make one of these videos, so there's a good chance there will be lots and lots of edits. This is being made right after I finished and ready to post Chapter 8, which is the chapter where Scott's finally made his reappearance and Noah doesn't like the way he did it and has just had enough of Scott's shit, basically. This chapter has been a very long time coming. This entire story has been a long time coming. Ever since about Chapter 5 of Moving On, I knew that I really wanted to keep going after the story ended, and I knew the story ended with Noah proposing to Scott. So I always knew there was a good chance that once I finally finished the story, I would be coming back and revisiting the characters in the future. At the time, I didn't know exactly the way the story would be structured. But when I wrote the Christmas short with Scott and Steve, I started getting more and more ideas, and that's when the story first started taking shape. So that was about a year ago, but I still didn't have a lot of the details. I knew I wanted it to start with Noah being with another man and eventually revealing it's not Scott, and then go back and show everything that happened leading up to it. Chapter 7 and 8 with the karaoke, I've known since about Chapter 29 of Moving On, which is when Scott, Noah, and Zach go visit Richard and Lynn for the first time. Before the custody hearing, I already had this scene completely laid out, minus some of the specifics of the songs. Getting these two chapters to the final form has been a long process. Getting Chapters 7 and 8 into the form you've now read has been a very long process, dating back to April of last year. And in that time, I've been working off and on song choices, kind of setting the scene. And I want to thank every single person who's read, emailed, liked, reviewed, joined the Facebook group, whether or not they've contributed, commented on my webpage, anything. Thank you for making Moving On and Moving Forward what it has become. When I posted Chapter 44, the final chapter of Moving On, I included a very long thank you to the readers at the end. And I actually had someone email me, and basically that I shouldn't be giving credit out for what is ultimately my work. And I really disagree with that. Because had I wrote Moving On and Moving Forward in a vacuum without input from other people, the story would have been a lot shorter and it wouldn't have had nearly as much emotional impact as being able to get feedback, find out what works, what doesn't work as I'm going, and be able to build a connection with the readers. So, first and foremost, I need to thank my husband. He's been completely instrumental, very supportive, very helpful, allowing me to constantly throw ideas at him and get his feedback. And he regularly reads the chapters just to tell me what he thinks of it, because he's the person who knows these characters almost as much as I do. He knows the plot lines I'm going for, and it irritates him. He really doesn't want anything to do with it, but he puts up with it for me, and thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to thank Jay Gordon, Mama B, Chris, Shinichi, Matt, Mikey, Kai, and everyone over at thestorycloset.org, especially when I was beginning and first starting to write. The mental and emotional support and encouragement that I got there has been instrumental in my writing process. Then I have to thank the people who have edited and polished Moving On, Moving Forward into what they are. My husband, Kai, who helped out the first several chapters. Ever since then, around Chapter 25 of Moving On, through the end of Moving On and continuing into Moving Forward, David has been phenomenal. I know one chapter I forgot to post the corrected version of chapters, much to his chagrin, but without David, the story would not be what it is, simply because there'd be a lot more glaring errors and missing words. And then all of my proofreaders and beta readers, people who have either looked at a single chapter to give me their thoughts, or people who have been a continuing ongoing help. NC Raider, Uchina, Red Rock Nut, Brett, and then my current proofer and beta reader, who made it very clear from the beginning that he doesn't want any credits, so he remains anonymous. But thank you as well. Whenever anyone gives me an idea that is not my own, it's a big deal to me to include that in the story, because it's not my idea to begin with. Someone gave me that idea, and thanks to them, I'm able to share that idea with you. Then I had Jesus, Oliver, Samantha, Bobby, Mark, Trish, Shinichi, Carlos, and probably many, many more that have directly helped shape the story. Mikey, Kai, Dennis, and Drew helped me to make sure that Moving Forward could stand on its own. I did not want it to be the type of thing where people had to read Moving On in order to understand and appreciate the story. Obviously, reading Moving On gives you a lot more insight, a lot more ability to understand the characters, but I didn't want it to be you had to read the 44 chapters before you could read the second story. Since moving forward, I've had a lot of help, specifically with the karaoke scenes, because I've been asking for song suggestions for almost a year now. JT, Ricky, Fajar, Brandy, Michael, Mikey, Kyle, Alex, Shinichi, McCall, Trish, Don, Oliver, Mama B, Ashton, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who will help me more in the future. I guess that's about all I have to say for today. I just wanted to once again thank everyone for reading, commenting, liking, everything. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And there's a lot more of this story to go. So now I'm going to do the part I've always wanted to do in a YouTube video. Click here for a link to my website where you can read the stories. Over here, link to Noah's song from Chapter 8 of Moving On. Please click it. Be nice, but I'd love to hear what you think about it because I recorded that myself. That's me singing. Here, link for Scott's songs that he sings in Chapter 8. There's Sue's. And thank you very much again. And till next time, bye.